time to play. Let's rewind to yesterday. The fun begins, we're here to stay. Ready, set, replay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Ready, Set, Rewatch, where I'm changing the intro because I think it's too long. My name is Skyler, and here is Daniel.
Hey everybody.
We're watching more Star Trek. This is unprofessional, but let's go for it.
Woo.
The real trick is for next week, I have to think of a real intro.
Oh, you have to think of a new one. That'll be fun. Fun but spooky.
Yeah, Star Trek. We're watching some good stuff this week. We're starting with the episode Space Seed, which is very famous for certain reasons. Daniel, take us there. Let's talk about it.
So, Space Seed starts. The Enterprise is tracking a sort of an unknown ship. And as they get closer to it, Spock is like, well, it definitely can't be an Earth vessel. And then it immediately starts transmitting Earth Morse code. And everyone looks at Spock like, yeah?
Spock, you idiot.
Dumbass.
Why do we even have him? He doesn't know anything.
And Uhura starts reading it out. And for some reason, Kirk immediately snaps at her like, I know what it means. I was like, we're starting with some weird character moments here of just being rude to people. It is, in fact, get this, an old Earth vessel. It was a ship from the 90s, which you can tell because it has the aggro crag stuck out of the top of it.
Star Trek predicted we'd have deep space exploration capability by the 90s.
Right, which we did. So,
well, maybe not to this degree.
Everything that they say happened in the 90s in this episode did happen in the 90s.
Oh, that's the secret. See, I was gonna say a couple episodes ago, can't remember which one. It was the one where they basically predicted the moon landing would happen in the late 60s, where everyone else said it would be in the 70s.
That was Tomorrow is Yesterday.
Yeah. And we're like, wow, Star Trek did really good. They were right. And then this one, it's like, oh yeah, they launched these guys into space in the 90s. And I'm like,
It does get crazier. So
not in my school textbook, but you never know.
They just left it out because of the war. They find out that the ship is manned. They look at it and they're like, there's a bunch of life signs on it, and they say something about the weapon bays being manned, but that doesn't come up, so I don't know what they mean by that.
They just have guys stuck in the torpedo pods.
I guess so. We see the ship and it looks tiny and shitty and a little bit like a sperm, which might be intentional.
Space Seed.
And then it cuts to the captain's log, and we find out that they have pulled up next to this thing and just sat there for an hour and done nothing.
You gotta keep an eye on them. You never know.
In that time, they've registered that there are between 60 and 70 heartbeats, but no respiration. Spock says that the ship is called the Botany Bay because he looks out the window and sees that it says that on the window. They're on the side of the ship. But there's no registry for it, and there's no record of it having left Earth. And then they talk about how it may not have been registered because the 90s were during the Third World War, the so-called eugenics war. Yeah. To which I spat out my coffee and said, bitch, what? The what
eugenics war? What they cited as the last World War, which once again took place in the 90s.
I think they specify it's 96 or something.
That one's a big swing and a miss. We're far from done with World Wars, you see.
It's very strange to me that in this otherwise very optimistic show, they're like, yeah, and 30 years from the time that we're recording this, there's going to be a war based around selective breeding and sort of racial battle lines, I guess.
Yeah.
That's weird to me. That's crazy.
I guess, has to get worse before it gets better. Or it kind of says we achieved this kind of very peaceful utopia, but we had to go through horrific shit to get there.
I guess so, yeah. Either way, Spock and Bones kind of argue about it a little bit, where Spock is like, wow, that sucks. Why did humans do that? And Bones is like, well, they were thinking very logically and were dedicated to science. He's throwing jabs at Spock, and I'm like, hey man, they didn't do it.
Yeah, the Vulcan war criminals, I don't know many.
Also, and we'll talk about it more later, there's a lot of just covering up for past Earth crimes in this. Kirk takes Bones on the landing team again, which he doesn't want to go. He's like, all right, Bones, you want to go on over to the other ship? And Bones is like, do I have a say? He's like, no.
You're coming with me. I think it's the first time that we've gotten Bones saying that he hates using the transporter.
Yes, he does mention that, and they call him
And
like an old head.
this leads to kind of like a funny running joke theory throughout the Star Trek fandom that the transporter doesn't actually. And you know what? I guess there's precedent to it when we made the evil Kirk way earlier in this season, where it doesn't actually send you somewhere; it copies you, like destroys you, and then just makes the copy somewhere else. So every time someone uses a transporter, they're killed. And that's the reason Bones doesn't like to use it, because he's a doctor and he knows.
I choose not to believe that because that would be the most horrendous thing imaginable.
Absolutely, I won't believe it.
Yeah.
But that's, you know,
I don't think
it's a
Gene
possibility.
Roddenberry would write that in and
No,
then have his characters
no.
use it every
He's got
episode.
space science and it works. It's fine.
Yeah. As they're walking to the transporter room, Kirk is also like, call that good-for-nothing piece of shit McIvers, the historian. Get her useless ass over here so that she can finally be have something to do. To which I said, brother, you were in the actual 60s like 2 episodes ago, and you didn't call her ass. That's on you.
No, he knows. He knew. He knew what the '60s were. He doesn't know what the '90s were. It's different.
That's more recent. He should have known.
Yeah. We got a lady officer in this episode, which means nothing but trouble is coming.
Nothing but trouble. I'm sure that no one will victimize or sexually assault her. Here we go.
Or
Manipulate
something
the
happens.
fuck out of her.
Yeah, extreme gaslighting.
They go on over to the Botany Bay, and by they, it is Scotty, Bones, Kirk, and McIvers.
Which at this point they mention, this is another thing where Kirk just remembers an insane amount of Earth history off the top of his head from like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. They know the Botany Bay was the name of like the first Australian penal colony.
Yeah.
So they theorize like these guys might be prisoners just shucked
from
out to space.
Australia or
Yeah,
something.
they might be Australian.
They might be Australian. We gotta. Ooh, there's gonna be some drop bears on that ship.
They beam over and immediately say a barbecue with a bunch of shrimps on it. My God.
Oh my God. This is the worst thing that could possibly be in space. So they beam on over there, and it's a cryo ship. There's a bunch of people just like laying down in what is supposed to be like cryo sleep, but they're kind of just laying in like it looks like a mausoleum, and they're all wearing gold fishnets and Speedos.
As we did in the 90s, yes.
As we did in the. That's true. Yeah, you got me. You're right. No, it should be like low-rise jeans with like the thong coming up on the side.
The crew of the Botany Bay are dressed like they are ready for a Spice Girls concert.
Yes. They look like they're ready to get thrown out of a Spice Girls concert.
Oh, well, you could try.
And McIver's is like, yeah, so they needed suspended animation for space travel until 2018, which is presumably when they got warp technology. So they
Makes
were like,
sense.
it took a long time to get anywhere, so everyone just went to sleep. And then she also is like, and wow, everyone here's super hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, McIver's, can you stop being horny for 1 second? She says, no.
No, she cannot.
I will not for the rest of the episode. And then she points out that one of the guys is thawing out, and she looks at him and she says, I think he's from northern India. He's probably a Sikh. And I looked at him and I said, no, he's not. That's the grandpa from Spy Kids.
Yeah. Ricardo Montalban is a Mexican actor who is playing a Indian man here.
He's playing an Indian man called Khan Noonien Singh, which we're not supposed to know yet, but he's Khan. This is the Khan episode, and
Khan, the Wrath of Khan, that Khan.
Yeah, Khan.
This is the episode he's
from.
Yep.
We had to say it at least once in this episode.
Yeah, of course.
Is it weird?
Yep, go ahead.
That he's not an Indian actor. Is that weird? In the 60s.
Weird?
Is it weird for this show? I think yes. It's not weird for the 60s, but it's weird that this show that is otherwise very progressive in its casting was like, we're going to get this hot guy from TV and we're just going to paint him a darker brown and make him do like yoga at one point, and then he's Indian.
Yeah. When you phrase it that way, that this is Star Trek, who has a very diverse cast normally,
it's weird.
And they that they opted just not to get. I mean, the answer is they got Ricardo Montalban and they wanted to use him. But I don't know how that transfers to he has to be Indian.
Right. I don't see any reason why he couldn't have just been the same character, but he's a Hispanic guy.
Right. Well,
You know what I mean?
oops.
It's. I looked at it and I was like, "That's so weird for this show." I would expect it for the '60s. There were
Yeah,
white
yeah.
dudes playing Asian people, and all kinds of stuff that they should not have been playing during this time period. Like, I'm not unaware that was happening. I'm
Yeah.
weirded out that it's happening in Star Trek.
Yeah, it is. It is weird. You are correct.
But
But you know what else is weird?
when Scotty comes over and he says, "Oh, all the people on this ship are multinational," and he starts listing them off, and definitely does say Oriental.
Ah, come on. They are they are technically of the Orient, I suppose. Okay. Grandpa said some things. He doesn't know it's weird. Doesn't know you shouldn't say that. It's fine. What I was going to say is weird is we actually got a confirmation of a theory we had like episodes and episodes ago where
Yeah.
we talked about the episode where Kirk specifically mentioned that there were like 15 or so casualties,
Right.
but there was only one death.
Right.
And we were like, does that mean that like they're just counting injuries as casualties in this, which is weird and not how we talk about casualties now. But yeah, he refers to Khan as a casualty.
Right. Who you may
So
know
that-
by the fact that he has a movie named after him, doesn't die in this episode.
No. He's very much not even dead when he says it about him.
He is dying, I guess, technically. Because what happens immediately next is that he starts thawing out, but because he's been asleep for like 200 years, it's rough on him, and so he starts having like, I think they describe it as sort of a heart attack. He's going to like cardiac arrest to an extent, and so they have to break the glass on the like cryopod that he's in, and pull him out so that they can get him to med bay or something.
A very quick thinking maneuver by Kirk, who yells like, "If we don't do this, he'll die anyways," and just smashed it open.
Yeah. So we get Khan out of the thing, and he is awake for like a little bit, but he's like not doing great, and he's like, "How long have I?" Like he's like, "I'm dying," and he asks how long he's been sleeping, and Kirk tells him 2 centuries, and he goes, "Oh," and goes back to sleep. He's like, "Oh, 5 more minutes."
I would do that too. I understand.
And then I also wrote, yeah, they beam back over and they call him a casualty. So hey,
There it is.
we caught that.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that we're smart,
No,
but you could,
we're
audience.
we're the biggest fans and better than you listening. If you thought you knew, we know more.
If you're watching a different podcast where they are watching Star Trek the original series and they didn't catch that 4 episodes ago, then just know we're
Get
smarter
their
than them.
ass.
Yeah.
Get them.
Send them
Tell
this
them.
clip. Let them know. We get into the captain's log where we find out that it's been another 9 hours. And the man in sickbay, I kept writing the man in my notes because they didn't actually call him Khan for quite some time after this.
I always put Khan in parentheticals.
Yeah.
Just like we know. But
The man, Khan, is in sickbay, and Bones is getting also a little horny about how good his body is. He's like, he's really strong, and his body's recovering way better than it should from this, and also, it's kind of hot. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I don't think he's attractive at all.
Oh, do you not?
No, he's got the worst hair in the series, potentially.
Well,
He's got...
it was the 90s, Daniel. Who among us had hair we're proud of in the 90s?
That's fair. He's got terrible hair, a bad spray tan, and he's wearing a gold Speedo.
You are correct that he has a bad spray tan, but it's not supposed to be a spray tan.
We're not supposed to be able to see in HD how bad it is. So I guess that's fair. Kirk asks Scotty if there's any like logs on the ship because Scotty's still over on the Botany Bay, and he's like, "Nah, man, ain't got shit over here. We ain't found shit." And he asks how many are alive, and he says 12 units have malfunctioned. He doesn't specify how long ago, so I chose to believe that there are 12 units with skeletons in them.
Yeah, I like that.
That there are 72 people still alive, and 30 of them are women. And I wrote, I don't know why he specified that, but good to know, I guess.
Does that math add up that we were close to 50-50? Like how many of the 12 that malfunctioned were also women?
Well, so it was 70, what was it? 70, 72
That
plus 12. So we're looking at like,
that means 42,
well, we're looking at
right?
like 80. That's 84. 72 plus 12 is 84
Yeah.
plus
So
con. So
so if
85.
okay, so he's the leader. They happen to wake up the leader.
Yeah, well, the McIvers does say something about that. She's like, on trips like this, a lot of times the leader would be woken up first in the event
That's
of a
true.
thing
That's
happening,
true.
so that they would be
That's
able to
true.
tell if they needed to wake up everybody else or whatever.
She did say that. Good job, McIvers. Thank you.
And she says, so the implication was that his wake up was triggered by other people entering the ship.
But that means that the other 12 that malfunctioned and were skeletons might have also been women, and then we would have had a 50-50 crew.
Impossible to know. So far, I've yet to see Bones be good enough at his job to identify a skeleton's gender.
He, come on,
he, didn't even, he
Bones
wasn't
needs
even
to start
supposed to
getting some
be
credit
here
around
today.
here.
Spoilers. I'm going to be giving Scotty a lot more credit over the next 2 episodes than I will give to Bones.
Scotty had a goated week.
He had a good week. Spock is talking about the ship, and he's talking about how it wasn't prepared for this long of a travel. It ran on like nuclear engines and didn't have any warp capabilities, and like it's insane that it's out this far. Something is wrong. This is strange. We need to look into this. And this is where Kirk is like, well, Botany Bay was the name of a penal colony. Maybe they were prisoners. And then Spock says specifically, he says, if you're thinking that this ship was a deportation vessel, then that's highly illogical. And then he goes on to explain what I think is correct, which he's like, during the time they were blowing the planet up and basically into a new dark age, it wouldn't make sense for them to waste, at the time, a highly advanced ship to send prisoners away.
And here's what I have to say to that.
Yeah.
The Kryptonians put Zod and his ruffians into little penis-shaped ships and sent them into the Phantom Zone right before the entire planet exploded. So,
can I tell you?
checkmate.
And I'm glad you said that. I was drawing parallels between this fucker and Zod the whole episode.
There we go.
I was like, this man is Zod, but worse.
But with a wicked spray tan.
With a spray tan and a terrible wig.
And a lion's mane. Yeah.
Kirk and Spock start suspecting that there's danger, and they're like, all right, set course for Starbase 12. And they're now towing the Botany Bay behind them with the tractor beam.
We're going to Starbase 12, which I could not remember what was the number of the Starbase that we have been to like 2 times before. And I think it's been a different number every time.
No, we've been to 11 twice.
Okay.
Starbase 11 was from Menagerie and Court Martial.
So we're going next door.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how far away they are, but yeah. In the med bay, Bones is, I wrote, glazing the specimen. He's like, he's so strong and smart and hot, and I bet he's great. And then McIvers comes in and is like, I would love to see his penis.
Yes, of course.
And Kirk's like, hey man, can you not be attracted to what might be a war criminal real fast? And she said, my interest is purely historical. That's my job. I'm a historian. And he said, sure, man. I'm glad you're not lying to me, but also get out of here.
Yeah. He doesn't like this lady.
He doesn't, and he's turns out right to not like her, because I didn't like her by the end of the episode either.
Do you remember that other lady that Kirk and her may have canoodled at the Christmas party or something?
Oh, Helen Noel?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Noel at the Christmas party. Do you think there was some sort of like 4th of July barbecue that Kirk had a run-in with this lady, and he's very mad about what happened, and that's why he's so mean to her?
Kirk strikes me as like a guy who thinks he's a history guy, and so he was probably like, this is just like the Roman whatever the fuck, and she was like, well, actually in the Roman universe, in the Roman Empire, it was like this, and he's like, I hate when women are right and I'm wrong.
You hit the nail on the head there, because this whole time he's trying to be the botany. I know what Botany Bay is, and they're like, okay, Kirk.
Yeah,
and her job is to know the history.
I think he
absolutely
hates people, and especially women, being smarter than her. Although she won't prove to be very intelligent for the rest of this episode. Spoilers.
No, she really blows it.
Our mystery man wakes up, is what I wrote, but we know he's con.
Immediately grabs a weapon.
First he does what I'm sure the script said was aligning his chakras, which only felt weird because he's not actually Indian or South Asian of any kind.
True.
So he does, like, he does this thing. It's kind of like a prayer thing, but he's like shaking super hard. I don't know. And he does it twice, and it kind of acts like to bring it back to wrestling like we do too often. It's like he's hulking up, but through yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So he does this like shaky yoga chakra aligny thing, and then he grabs a knife off the wall and goes back to sleep.
Very smart.
And then Bones walks in, and Khan grabs him by the neck and puts the knife to his throat. And Bones, trying to be cool but failing, is like, "Oh, well, you gonna choke me out, or are you gonna slit my throat? You should make up your mind. You should cut the carotid artery. It's under my ear. That'll be good. That's the fastest, cleanest way to kill him, man. Hang me upside down, drain the blood out of me, and then turn me into jerky.
And then kiss me on the lips.
And then kiss me on the lips."
I'm so sad that this is what Bones has become in our retelling. I came into this show being like Kirk, Spock, and Bones. They're the main three. They're great. And now Bones is just this.
To be honest with you, my tier list at the point that we're at the end of this and the episode that we're going to talk about after it, my tier list is like Spock, Scotty, Uhura, Power Gap, everyone else.
Scotty's definitely high in the ranking.
I'm in love with Scotty.
Not only with how well he does in situations he's been put in, but the amount of shit he has to put up with that we know is happening.
Right. He got the phaser that it blew him up.
The amount of
the engine's 5,000 degrees.
Things just thrown his way.
Yeah.
And he's able to overcome.
What we don't know is that the salt vampire was rolling around in engineering for like an extra week afterwards, and just no one cared because only Scotty was having to fight it.
He had to crawl out of engineering with all of his salt sucked out, but he survived.
He had just one extra little like morsel of haggis in his lunchbox, and it was just enough salt to keep him alive.
Say he got one of those little fast food salt packets they had to break open.
It was an emergency one.
He found that he crawled into the mess hall, which was full of people, by the way, not helping, just staring at him crawl along the floor.
Uhura was singing a song about how lame he was.
Yeah, she was playing her little harpsichord, singing a song about how much salt everyone in the room has. And he's able to grab the packet.
After the strangling diffuses, he tells him that he's on the Enterprise, and that he confirms that he has been asleep for 200 years. And Khan's like, "Oh, golly, me oh my." And then Khan asks if he could talk to the captain, so Bones calls him down and he says, "There's a man here who wants to talk to you.
Jim, there's a very handsome man who wants to speak to you.
There's a man here whose penis is twice as big as mine, and he wants to talk to you." The man, I wrote the man in my entire Becky Lynch over here. Khan asks where they're going and if his people are alive. So Kirk is like, "We're going to Starbase 12, which means nothing to you. And yes, 72 of your people are still alive.
Most of them.
All but 12. Oh, those are my 12 favorites. Oh, come on.
That was his harem.
Oh, not Huda with the big ass. I can't believe she didn't make it." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm really tired. I gotta go to bed. But also, can I read all of the technical manuals for your ship and how to take it over?" And Kirk's "Yeah, man, sure.
Give me all the history that has ever happened since the 1990s and tell me where all the most important buttons on this ship are."
And Kirk's like,
"I don't see a problem with that."
"Sounds great. Yeah, I know we just talked about how you might be a space criminal, but yeah, go for it, buddy." And then he finally does identify himself as Khan. So from this point on, hopefully in my notes it says Khan, and I don't have to dodge around the fact that it says the man.
Calling him Khan.
Khan. Oh, I also wrote Kirk wheels over a convenient screen that I didn't know was there. But then after I took this note, I realized that I think that screen was there, because I'm pretty sure it's the one that, remember in Where No Man Has Gone Before, with tinfoil eyes is like reading shit really fast? I think we did see it there.
Okay.
But that might be...
I remember the tinfoil eyes.
The tinfoil eyes were spooky. We go back to the bridge, and Spock is like, "Hey, man, are you sure he should be reading that?" And Kirk's like, yeah, I mean, he's going to have to live in our world for the rest of his life. We may as well read stuff. And I was like, this is a bad idea.
Yes.
We know this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And then they talk about, they're like, "Do you think Khan is a eugenics baby?" And they keep calling them Supermen, which I was like, which is, I think, why the Zod comparisons kept happening in my head. So they basically talk about it, and they're like, they talk about how these guys have been like, back in the 90s, were like selectively bred to be stronger and better and faster and smarter and all those things, and how that turned them into like
professional wrestlers.
It turned them into like real narcissistic douchebags who like wanted
it
to
would.
conquer the world. And Kirk,
Mhm.
I forget if it's Kirk or Spock. I didn't write my notes, but they said superior ability breeds superior ambition, which I do think is sort of putting lipstick on the hey, we accidentally made a bunch of wannabe dictators.
Yeah.
I feel like saying, oh, they were just really ambitious is like it's the Star Trek equivalent of being like, oh god, what's that thing that they say every time that like a guy gets charged with like sexual assault and they're like, oh, he's a promising young man.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't want
promise.
to take it.
Good.
It's one of
You're
those.
good. We don't want to ruin your
Oh,
life.
we'd hate to ruin
Yeah,
his life. That's what it feels
that whole
like.
deal. I think in Spock's quote, he didn't mean ambition as like a complimentary thing, though.
No,
I
I'm
think
sure he
meant it
didn't.
as a
That's just how
very
I
dangerous thing. Yeah.
yeah.
But that I see what you're saying. Like, Khan, you did horrific stuff, killed a lot of people, but you're a handsome young Indian man. We don't want to take away your rights. We don't want to ruin your life. So go ahead and take all the specs to our ship, and take this very impressionable young woman, and go do what you ever want to
Would
do.
you also like a gun? I can give you one of those.
Yeah, we have them. If you can make them explode and throw them in the trash, we don't know where it goes.
Scotty with his beak on the back of his head. Spock says that 80 to 90 of these so-called Supermen were unaccounted for at the end of the war, which is not explained in the textbook. And then he says something like, but would you tell your war-torn planet that there are 80 to 90 more Napoleons out there that we didn't get rid of? And I was like,
They
that's a good
went to
point.
Argentina.
They went to Argentina and then space, it turns out.
Yeah, they went to Argentina and then joined NASA. Nice.
Khan goes to visit McIvers in her room, and he sees all her paintings of previous warlords and conquerors, and he's like, you've got a type. Hey, you're really pretty.
Yeah.
Why's your hair so bad?
Do we have is Bones in charge of the psych evaluations? Do we not have anyone that wrote down the red flags of
Yeah.
like, yes, our historian, she's interested in history, of course she would need to be, but also seems to have an infatuation with horrific, powerful war criminals.
Yeah. Should
Because
that
that's
be
not good, should we ever meet one.
a
But what are the
problem?
odds of that?
She's got a lot of Nazi memorabilia, and I'm sure that's fine. So
Anyways, I wrote in my notes, Khan has little shoes.
he does have little shoes.
He has very tiny shoes.
Also, she's like a
And I
painter.
feel that's important to note.
It is, and I'm glad that you pointed out. But also, she's a painter, and when he comes in, he like peels a thing off a canvas, and she's been painting him, but in a turban that she's not seen him wearing. So I guess she was just like, well, he's a
just
Sikh,
assumed.
so he would be wearing
Yeah.
one, I guess.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, he seems flattered by it, but he's not really South Asian, so who's to say?
That's true. He's pretending.
Maybe
Khan's pretending.
Oh, he's not. He's a liar. He's a big liar.
Yeah.
I can see that. But yeah, so he comes in and he's like, "Wow, McIvers, you're really hot. It's a shame that your hair is disgusting." And then he just starts messing up her hair. She's like wearing an updo, which she says is comfortable. I don't think it would be. That's
No.
not the point.
Certainly not.
He starts like quote unquote fixing her hair, by which I mean he takes like 2 strands of her curlier hair in the back and just kind of like clumsily lowers it. And I swear to God, I bet in the script he was supposed to do more. And Ricardo Montalban was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, it was hard.
That hair's really up there. You can see him take out like 4 or 5 bobby pins too. Like that shit's up there. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's not all cut. Well, eventually she, takes out the rest herself.
Yeah.
She walks in and she's like,
He also, while he's doing it, he keeps being like, "Oh, your hair is so soft." And I'm like, "Please stop. Please stop doing this. Please stop. What's happening?"
this is one of those things where he's super strong and super smart and super spray tanned and super hot. But I think if he was trying to do this little manipulation game on literally anyone else, it wouldn't have worked this way.
It's crazy. It's truly
I
crazy
think
that this worked.
he found the one person this like mentally fragile enough to fall for his horrific stuff.
This isn't even the worst. We'll get into it when we get to the worst of it. But yeah, I got some things to say. So they go to the dining room because McIvers has apparently convinced everyone to throw a welcome feast for Khan.
Colored food cubes.
We get some colored food cubes and some space celery.
Food cubes is hard to say.
It's a tongue twister for sure.
I almost stumbled over it, and then you put the same little U sound in it as I did.
I'm bad at talking. Khan comes in and he's dressed pretty good here. But he does have his entire chest out, which I guess Ricardo Montalban was would have to assume pretty proud of.
In his contract.
He said his contract. Okay, so they're setting up the feast, but they're not at the feast yet. Never mind. They do that, and then this is where the art thing happens. We're like cutting back and forth. It doesn't matter. Because the only other thing that happens in the scene where he's messing with her in her room is that he very forcibly and aggressively kisses her, and it is consensual, but it doesn't feel like it is.
No, well, it's 60s consensual.
It's aggressive.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's 60s consensual, which is to say, not really. It's a gray area. It shouldn't be, but it was.
It's a bad area. So back at dinner, Khan and Spock are talking politics, and Khan is the uncle that you wish was not at Thanksgiving.
Man, he speaks in such grand militaristic platitudes.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a super Hitler. He's
really
definitely an evil dictator.
How did you feel about this scene in particular? Because this, I feel like, is the crux of the episode for me.
Yeah.
Like, this is where so much of the, like, mental war between Khan and Kirk happens.
Just in what way? You explain yourself.
Well, okay, so, because they're sitting there, and Spock is asking a bunch of questions, and Kirk is sitting there quietly, and Spock sort of, like, is luring him in to talk about, the time period that he came from. And Khan, like, points out, he's like, oh, Kirk, you're a great strategist. You're letting your second in command lead the attack while you sit back and watch for weaknesses. And then Kirk then flips the script on him and, like, goads him into being like, we were doing great things for the world, and, like, basically admitting that he is Khan, this guy who was a terrible space Hitler back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think that this is my favorite scene of the episode, where it's like otherwise very mundane dinner scene, but it's like such a great character moment of, like, Kirk not finally, he's done it a couple of times, but, like, Kirk really showing his ability to be a thinker and, like, get around situations and figure things out. Spock
he exploits Khan's pride.
Exactly.
Khan's very prideful of his eugenics.
Yeah. There is a bit, I did write down a line here, where, because Khan is at the beginning of the dinner trying to pretend that he's not Khan. Because Khan is, like, this big tyrant. And Spock, like, asked him, like, well, why did you leave? Like, you could have stayed and fought tyranny. And he was like, tyranny, no, they were going to be great for the world or whatever. And he's like, he says they were going to unify the world. And Spock says, unify, sir, like a team of animals under one whip. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's a good line. And that's when Khan, like, tries to change the subject onto Kirk to be like, hey, man, nah, I'm not evil.
Yeah, you're evil, if anything.
But yeah, so they trick him into basically admitting that he was one of the Supermen, the eugenics babies. And then he goes, oh, I'm so tired again. Oh, I gotta go. I gotta run away.
That's a trick that he falls into when he's, like, doesn't want to answer questions, or he's, giving away too much. He's he pretended to have a headache earlier. He was like, no, I'm just gonna go to bed. Goodbye, Captain.
So after he runs away, after he admits to being a war criminal and then runs away, McIvers goes to visit him in his quarters, and this is where it gets really weird. This is for me the worst scene of the episode. We're back to back, baby.
I wrote, and this echoes basically what I already said, but I wrote in my notes, either he's a master manipulator or she really wanted to be manipulated.
It's a little bit of both. There is some Harley Quinn energy happening here for sure.
Sure.
But so she comes in and she's got her hair down because he wanted it down, and this is an abusive relationship from second one.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in and he's like, he, like, immediately tries to kiss her, and she's like, nah, and he's like, then leave, but stay, or stay, but only do whatever it is that you truly want to do. And then she's like, okay, well, I want to stay, and he's like, well, she says, I'll stay for a little while. And he's like, oh, how many minutes would you grace me with, your highness?
Yeah.
And then he's like, now if you want to stay, you have to beg me for it. And I was like, this is the most manipulative bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
this is some shit that you would read in one of those, like, disgusting, like, how to pick up a girl fucking rags. You know what I mean? This is like,
sure.
you gotta neg her and make her hair look good. You gotta fuck.
Yeah,
Hey, what you need to do is fuck her hair up and then tell her that you're a war criminal. That'll get her.
he's a TikTok alpha male.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
I was thinking more, and I won't say any specific names, but I was thinking like the leaked DMs of celebrities that are using like psychobabble to try to gaslight their partners into admitting they were wrong or something.
And then once she like begs him to stay, he grabs her hand and I guess squeezes it really hard because she like goes to her knees in obvious pain. And then he's like, he's doing the like kneel before Zod, but what he's saying is he's like asking for her to open her heart, and I was like, this is weird as hell. I am deeply uncomfortable with this scene, and I don't like they paint McIvers to be both an idiot and extremely manipulative. She gets manipulated really easily. Yeah.
Yes.
And Khan, this is like his most villainous moment for me of just like he's getting in this woman's head and he's being kind of a disgusting pig about it. It made me deeply uncomfortable, and I think it is written well to an extent, but at the same time, I'm like, I just don't think she's acting the way that a human being would act.
Right. It has that kind of like 60s mentality of how fragile, frail are women and how easily can they fall into this evil man's trap. They know Khan is evil, but back then, did they realize how skeevy this scene actually was? Or is that, because like you look at it, you're like, oh, of course he's a bad guy. Right. But like how much of that, how bad did they think he was when they were writing the scene? You know what I mean?
It's so weird. But then Khan tells her that he wants to take over the ship, and she refuses at first, but then when he tells her that she can go, then she's like, I'll do whatever you want. Like, he doesn't threaten her. He just like, okay, he says that she can leave, and I guess the idea of not being in his presence is enough for her to be like, I'll betray everyone I know.
Yeah, she sucks.
She's the worst. Or is it
like,
written to be the worst?
Has she been manipulated? Yes. But like, is she completely free of fault throughout the rest of this episode?
No. Here's what I wrote down. Are we supposed to presume that he has some kind of pheromone aura that forces women to do what he wants, or that she is the worst person on this ship?
Okay. I know two things. Number one, in real life, Ricardo Montalban has pheromone aura.
Sure.
So, but number two, Kirk hates this lady, so she might be the worst person on this ship.
Yeah, that's fair. Meanwhile, in the thinking room, they've pulled up Khan's permanent record, and they say, here's where we learn sort of how evil he was. So he ruled over a quarter of the Earth, including most of Asia and the Middle East. He was the last of these tyrants to be overthrown, and he went missing, and we have now found him. And then
he escaped to the one place left untouched by capitalism.
Space. That's a reference to a video game that no one played.
You're welcome.
There you go. And this is another scene that I get really uncomfortable with, because Scotty, Kirk, and Bones are all talking about how they admire him, and they're like, there were no the trains ran on time under Khan.
The trains ran on time. That's what they said.
And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm so confused by how we are supposed to feel about Khan. Are we supposed to like respect and admire him to some extent, but just like know that he's a bad guy? Or are we supposed to see him as the manipulative womanizer that he is? Like, what are we supposed to be taking? What are we supposed to feel about him at this time? Because everyone else on the crew makes fun of Spock when he's like, no, he's a fucking war criminal. And they're like, you can't understand admiring your enemies. And it's like, that's not what this is. He's a eugenics baby who was a tyrant and a dictator and is currently manipulating and negging one of your crew members.
I kind of see what they were saying about, because no, Spock is in the right, being like, gentlemen, this guy sucks. What are you talking
This dude's
about?
the worst, actually.
And they were saying like in a way. I think we're supposed to look at him at Khan as like Napoleon brought to the modern era or the sci-fi era, right?
Sure.
We're supposed to look at him like militaristically, strategically, like we're supposed to look at him in that way of this powerful historical figure who's just happened to drop in our laps. And if it was Napoleon, they would look at him that same way, like wow, this guy sucks, but man, is he good at his job. But again, following the scene of him manipulating MacGyvers like that, I'm definitely more on Spock's side, but I'm also I understand what they're going for.
This to me feels like, because they are building him up to be like Space Hitler, but he doesn't seem quite that bad. Like it didn't sound like he was doing any like particular purging. I don't know what his goal in Wrath of Khan is, although I know it involves a missile, so he's probably trying to kill a lot of people at that point. But we know that he's a dictator who ruled over a fourth of the earth, right? Yeah. So to me, this is the same level of red flag as if you were like going out with a guy and he was like, I just really look up to Stalin. I think he was great, you know? Hey, if you're a woman and you're listening to this and that's not a red flag for you, I would, you should reconsider the type of men that you're dating, because that's a red flag. You should, if your boyfriend is like, you know who's great? War criminals.
I just think Mussolini had some grit to him, you know?
Literally, Mussolini got the trains running on time, which is the same thing that they're talking about here.
Yeah.
They're like, well, he didn't start any wars. And it's like, okay, but he killed a lot of people.
He did. Ruling a quarter of the earth isn't a great thing, probably.
Yeah. You have to assume that there was a lot of bad things that happened that they're just not mentioning. But so Kirk goes to visit Khan, who is now in a Starfleet uniform for some reason. I guess his chest was not looking as good today. And they play Whose Dick is Bigger, and Kirk identifies him as Khan. He's like, you're a Khan Noonien Singh, and you're the worst. And then Khan is like, yeah, well, you're an inferior little bitch boy, and I'm disappointed that humanity hasn't evolved as much as I would have hoped in the last 200 years. Frankly, I'm stronger, smarter, faster, and my penis is bigger than yours. And Kirk's like, well, I'm not going to sit here with my tiny penis and take that. And he walks out of the room.
How dare you, sir?
Then after Kirk leaves, he does his weird like prayer chakra aligning thing again, and then peels open a door and punches a guard and takes his gun.
Yeah, this is where I wrote, because we've been told how super strong Khan is, and then him pulling open that door. I was like, oh yeah, I guess he is strong.
I guess. I don't know. We've not had any experience with like how hard it is to open one of those doors. So to me, it was just like, the Best Buy is closed. Then I peeled open the sliding door.
Yeah, but those when those doors are locked, you can't get them open.
Man, I used to work at a Kroger, and you could open them pretty easy.
If you just like ran full force into those like sliding doors, they will just fold in.
I'm sure. Yeah.
There was a lady who stole a bunch of stuff from the store that I worked at
by just running through the door.
Yep, she just loaded up her cart like a battering ram and ran through it.
That's kind of funny.
I wasn't there at the time, so it wasn't my problem.
Good. Meanwhile, while Khan is ripping a door open, MacGyvers is holding the transporter guy, who I found out recently his name is Kyle, at gunpoint until Khan shows up and nerve pinches him, but with both hands. So he's only half as good. He needs two hands to nerve pinch somebody, and Spock only needs one. So basically, Spock's the best. They go over to the botany bay. They wake up a bunch of sleeping people, and then and I wrote here, the men get uniforms, and the women stay in their fishnets. Because of course they do. And then I guess they beam back over and start taking over the ship, but we don't find out until Kirk is on the bridge, and he's told Khan has escaped, and then immediately finds out that the life support to the bridge has been turned off, the turbo lifts are shut down, and communications are jammed. They say
turbo lifts are shut off, the atmospheric controls are shut off, communications jammed, and I wrote down, all right, turning off the turbo lift, shutting down the elevator, that's one thing. They took away the air conditioning.
That's
unforgivable.
So the eugenics babies have taken over the ship. The Khanites, I don't know, whatever we want to call them. Zod and his crew have taken over the Enterprise. Kirk wants to gas the ship, but they can't. And I said, that's crazy that his first go-to was gas the ship. But then we'll later find out that it's like a knockout gas and not a mustard gas.
Kill them all.
All right, wipe the ship. We'll start again.
Yep.
And after a commercial break, everyone is like knocking out from suffocation, and Kirk is giving a captain's log about how he's going to give them all accommodations if they don't die. Which is like nice, I guess, but also, I don't know, you're Kirk. I feel like you could have figured out a way out of this room.
It's too hot.
Between Kirk and Spock, was Scotty in that room? I don't know. Between the two of them, though, they should have been able to get out of that room.
I don't think Scotty was in the room. I'll tell you who wasn't in the room for sure, though, because I realized after they all pass out and they're rounded up, this is where I realized that Sulu's on vacation, I guess. He's nowhere to be seen.
They were like, well, we have a South Asian guy here, so we don't need the actual Asian guy. So we get a cut then where Khan and his cronies are holding the rest of the like leaders of the different departments, I guess, department heads, in the thinking room. And he's like, I need you guys to turn over to my side because I can't fly the ship without you. My people don't know how to do it. They don't have the training. And until you swap over to my side, I'm going to keep putting people in this depressurizing chamber, and I'm going to start killing people one by one, starting with Kirk. And then he shows a little clip of Kirk doing the Mike TV thing.
They put Kirk in the microwave.
Yeah. And they're like, and here's what I wrote. I started getting really upset. I wrote, where is security? There are at most 73 intruders, assuming that everyone woke up and didn't need the extra 9 hours it took Khan to be healthy again and be able to stand up. There are at most 73 intruders on a military ship that has a crew of over 400. How did we get here?
They're super.
But the only super thing we've seen them do is open a door.
But we have a traitor too.
Yeah, but she's a historian.
Fault. But she
What's
knows how to open doors so they can save their super strength to beat up security. We said episodes ago, our security sucks.
Apparently.
Right? There were tons of red shirts in that crowd watching that play when shit started going down, and they didn't do anything. All right? Our security is bad.
It's a military ship from the future, and they're taken out by the Nazi youth from the 90s.
We are the Navy, but we're mostly exploratory.
And you have to figure, based on Khan's demeanor, that some of those people, all you would have had to do is put up a mirror and they would have stopped and flexed in it for 35 minutes.
That's true. I do believe that.
Just drown them like Narcissus. So Khan I already said this. Khan reveals that Kirk is in a pressure chamber and that they're going to depressurize him to death. And then
strikes Uhura.
Yeah. Yeah. He's trying to get Uhura to do something. I don't remember what exactly. And a guy comes over and slaps the shit out of Uhura, and I said, I'm getting upset.
Yeah, we're angry.
I'm getting upset.
These are heels. Absolute heels. They have go away heat.
And it seems to be the thing that upsets McIvers, because she stands up and she's like, stop hitting her. And then she's like, I don't need to watch this, right? I'm already on your side. I'm going to leave and not do anything. It doesn't worry. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm on your side still, for sure. I'm on your side.
Proud and powerful lady. I'll let you do the evil as I go to bed.
So she leaves, and then 2 seconds later, the video feed of Kirk in the fish tank goes out, and then we cut to McIvers tranquilizing a guard next to the pressure chamber, and she lets Kirk out, and she's like, am I still going to get arrested? And he's like, we'll talk about that later. As Spock comes into the room being led by a different guard who gets jumped by Kirk and then nerve pinched by Spock, and then I wrote, these are Supermen? He couldn't overpower Kirk? A Kirk who just almost died from the bends 2 seconds ago?
All right. I think Kirk would have gotten his ass kicked if Spock hadn't walked in. So superhumans do not equal Vulcans.
Okay, good.
That's another thing. We do need to think about this, right? All right. So they are technically superhumans by superior breeding, right? Eugenics.
Sure.
So they are genetically as powerful as a human could be. But I also get the vibe that because of that, they're not working out. They're just I'm naturally this fit. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
And they may be ambitious, as Spock put it, but that doesn't mean that they're smart.
Yeah,
Khan, imagine that all these other super guys, which they're super allegedly, or they're just his followers. Maybe they're not all super. Are they all super?
It's implied. They say that there's 80 or to 90 of the Supermen missing. So they are all Supermen.
I'm going to say, based on your argument earlier of how did they take over the ship, they have to all be super.
Sure.
Either way, imagine they're manipulated to follow Khan the same way he manipulated MacGyver's. Like they can't be smart.
Here's
They
here's
can't be
what
smart.
I wrote in this moment is I wrote, these guys ain't shit. And then I wrote, if I was genetically engineered to be a Superman and I had Khan's hairline, I'd kill myself.
Well, he has different hair in the movie. You'll be happy to know.
Okay, good. So anyway, now Spock and Kirk are armed and free. They gas the ship, which I said feels like overkill because I feel like they could kill all of these 72 dudes with one hand tied by their back at this point. They seem like they ain't got shit. But Khan and Scotty make it out of the room before they get gassed. Khan runs to engineering, and Scotty's like, I think he went to engineering.
I did write, it is in every member of the crew's contract that they are subject to being gassed at any moment.
Yeah. It was part of their
It's
military career.
Part of being on the ship.
Yeah. Kirk meets Khan in engineering, and Khan immediately disarms him and crushes the phaser. Oh, he finally did something where he looks remotely strong. Cool.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, Khan and Kirk stunt doubles have a pretty good fight, which includes a Hurricane Rana.
Stuntmen got put to work in this episode.
They had a pretty decent fight. And then,
I mean, imagine how cool it would have been watching on a very old TV where you can't clearly see the faces of the two men that are not our characters.
True. That's true. Khan says that he has 5 times the strength of Kirk, but then Kirk beats his ass with what looks like the top of a soap dispenser and turns off the self-destruct that Khan put into place. I think he might be full of shit.
I think Khan's just full of shit. But yeah, he says, you can't beat me, and then Kirk beats his ass with a pipe.
Yeah, he's like, want to bet? And then they have a court-martial. We're right at the end of the episode here. They have a court-martial, and Kirk drops all of the charges and then gives him a free planet.
Yeah. So, this ending definitely seems to be letting these war criminals off really light.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you, by the time we get to the movie, in hindsight, this is not a win. But Kirk does not know that here.
Because he's an idiot.
Sometimes.
You just put 90 Napoleons on a planet and was like, it'll work out.
Well, they don't have a ship. They're
and MacIvers chooses to go with them to be, I guess, manipulated and probably beaten up. She's going to have a really shitty life for the rest of her life, and it's going to be terrible. That
is true.
I wrote, all these people should be in jail. Why are we giving them a planet? And then Spock says, I can't wait to come back in the movie.
Yeah, he waxes poetic, and then we're out of here.
He says specifically, it would be interesting to jump 100 years in the future to see what crop had sprung from the seed you planted today. Because it's called the Space Seed, you see. Skyler, how are you feeling about Space Seed, the Khan episode? Where Khan does Khan?
There's 0% chance they knew this was going to be a movie. They probably thought, like, maybe we'll have an episode where we come back here. I don't know how they could have possibly thought this was going to be a movie. I do like this episode.
Yeah.
I think you're correct. There is some fucked shit that happens in this episode. And the fact that they're just let off with being stuck on a planet, it doesn't really ring true to what should have happened, probably. And then even by the time that we go, like, in the movie, there's a lot of, like, Kirk, what were you thinking? What were you doing there? Like, it's not a great decision by Kirk.
I hope that he gets some real comeuppance in that movie, because this is a terrible decision.
I could promise you some stuff happens to Kirk in that movie. Yes.
Good.
He's not a happy boy in that movie.
So yeah, would you give this an engage?
I'm gonna give this one an engage. Yeah.
With our patented rating system, in which a good episode gets an engage and a bad episode gets an illogical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm split on this one. I really truly am. Because I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens here, and it sets up a lot of lore, and I think that that's interesting, but I don't think I like this episode.
I like Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah.
And I like dealing with the Khan character. I like that dinner scene, as you said.
The dinner scene's good.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you...
I like the dinner scene, and I like the fight at the end. I think both of those are done very well. What I don't like is... I don't think that Khan is a good villain in this. They don't really prove him to be strong or capable. The only thing we see him do is open a door and manipulate a woman. And frankly, we've seen pretty much every person in the show manipulate a woman, so I'm not impressed that he can do that.
Including the good guys.
So the only power that we've seen him exert is having goons and ability to open a door, and that's just not. I don't find that interesting villainous stuff. I think he is a decent actor. Although I do think it's weird that he's playing a South Asian man and he is
Yeah,
Mexican.
that's
I don't love that. The scene between him and McIvers makes me deeply uncomfortable, and I am only 50% sure that it's supposed to, because then the scene immediately after it is the entire crew talking about how cool he is. And I don't like that they were like, hey, our crew should somewhat admire this known war criminal. Like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty decent negative for like my love of, frankly, all of the major male characters on this crew except Spock.
I do think they were looking at Khan as more of a Napoleon than a Hitler.
That's
If
fair.
that makes it any better.
It makes it a little better. Napoleon's not as bad as Hitler. He's still pretty bad.
Yeah. He told his wife not to wash that one time.
That was based.
You know what? While we're talking about Khan, can I quickly throw this at you?
Do it.
Okay, so obviously we have a Mexican actor playing a Indian man, and his name is Khan Noonien Singh.
Yeah.
Is it strange? And obviously, I don't condone brownface at all.
Right.
But is it equally as strange that in the 2013 movie Star Trek Into Darkness, Benedict Cumberbatch plays Khan, and granted, he's not wearing brownface, but his name
Rude.
is still Khan Noonien Singh?
They say specifically Khan Noonien Singh.
They do. They do.
That's weird. It's less bad, I would say, than having him do brownface. But like, we couldn't find any kind of Indian or Pakistani actor to play this role.
The Khan thing was supposed to be a twist there.
I
We were
guess
supposed to
that's
go
fair.
in not thinking it was Khan, but then he says his name was Khan in the middle,
Yeah.
and people who know Star Trek were like,
Ah.
"Yeah, I thought we knew that," and then people who don't know Star Trek said, "I don't know what that
I don't know
means."
what that means. That's not a great twist. I know this is controversial because this is one of the like most highly praised episodes of this show. I don't
Yeah.
care for this episode. I think I'm gonna have to give it an illogical. This
All right,
episode,
that's fine.
I think, has a lot of interesting stuff in it, but I feel like it doesn't come together into a good cohesive whole, and it just makes me not really like excited to see Khan again, because all I'm gonna be able to think about is like I'm gonna get to that movie and I'm gonna be like, is McIvers even in this movie? Is she around? Did they kill her?
Do you want me to?
You can tell
want
me.
to say I think she's dead.
That would make sense.
Okay, I'll. By the time we get to the spoilers, everybody, for Wrath of Khan, by the time we get there, we get to a planet, and it's actually kind of cool because we have characters on this planet, and they're like, "Wait a minute, is this the same planet that we?" Because something fucked up happened to the planet, and they were left in these horrific conditions where they basically were like on hell for years and years and years, and then Khan gets a way to get off the planet, and he's like, "Nah, I'm mad, and I'm gonna make it Kirk's problem."
Sure. Right.
But yeah, I think she's dead by the time we get back to this planet.
I guess that would make sense. But yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, I look forward to that movie in a way of like, that's such a random villain to choose for the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like in this episode, Khan proves himself to be a better villain than most of the other ones that we've seen.
Right. He's better in the movie.
I would have to assume so. But yeah,
which is it's considered one of the best of the original Star Trek movies. I don't know if I agree with that. I guess we'll see.
Okay. Skyler, would you like to take a taste of Armageddon? So this episode starts with our beloved crew en route to a star system to set up diplomatic relations with a group of people who will definitely want to have diplomatic relations. And some grumpy man with the weirdest bags under his eyes I've ever seen comes into the bridge, doesn't say anything for a minute, and just kind of stands in the background while the ship receives a signal that they are not welcome in the star system and that they should go away.
All right, turn it around. We're going home.
All right,
back to Starbase 13.
We all tried. The grumpy man, who will identify himself as Ambassador Fox, is like, by my authority as an ambassador, you're going anyway. And Kirk's like,
Okay.
well, shit, I guess we do have to have an episode today. And apparently, he explains, thousands of people have been killed in the area, and they want to set up some kind of port there so that they can exert some amount of control over the star system to make that stop happening. Spock tells Kirk that the people of the planet have never left their system and are at war with a neighboring planet. And that a ship called the Valiant went missing trying to make contact most recently. Kirk and some security guys are wanting to beam down without the ambassador, which he's upset about because he's like, hey, man, I'm the ambassador. And they're like, yeah, but you don't know how to fight, and this might be a fight. So we're going without you.
The amount of times that they bolster us with some diplomat asshole that doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Well,
Pisses me off, man.
Kirk makes the best decision of his career and leaves Scotty in charge of the ship.
Yeah, boom! You love to see it.
You
Round
love
of
to
applause
see
for
it.
Scotty.
Down on the planet, which I don't know when we learned, but it's called MNR7, they meet with an attractive woman who Kirk definitely won't kiss, is what I wrote here,
Yeah,
but then he ends up not kissing her, so
That's
I was
true.
disappointed.
Was definitely expecting
Yeah.
for him to be grabbing on her, but it never really happened.
This might be the least sexist episode so far. It's up there. I can't think of anything that happens that's like outwardly sexist. So there we go. I wrote, this attractive woman is walking down a hall with two people who are dressed like chewed pencils. Kirk, Spock, and three red shirts beam down to a pristine planet and introduce themselves to the lady who identifies herself as May 3. And I wondered if, like, at the moment I was like, are they robots and they are numbered, or is that how they say like the third on their planet, or is it just because we're in sci-fi and putting a number in there will make it sound sci-fi?
Oh man, it's probably the last one.
Probably.
I mean, I think Roddenberry's better than that.
Yeah, but they don't explain
I
it.
I like the idea of it being how you say the third.
I mean, they never explain it, so we're free to make up whatever we want. May 3 tells them that they shouldn't be here because it isn't safe, and then she takes them to meet the High Council, which consists of a handful of grumpy-looking white men. And then Kirk tells them that he wants to set up diplomatic relations, and the leader, Anon 7, says, that's not possible, we can't do that because we're at war with a planet called Vendikar, and we have been for 500 years.
I wrote down, we stumbled into a war between a planet of goobers and a planet of jabronis.
That's good. And Spock goes, hey man, no you aren't. We scanned your planet, and also I can look at it, and your planet's good. Like, there's no sign of war whatsoever. And Anon's like, yeah, well, we lose 1 to 3 million people every year. And then a wall opens up, and it's like, war were declared.
That's insane.
A wall opens up, and they're like, Vendikar is attacking. And then a light shows up on a map, and they're like, there was a hit right here in the city. And Spock's like, I didn't hear an explosion. Do you detect any explosions? And then he calls up to Mr. Scotty. He's like, did you get an explosion? He's like, nah. Like,
That's what happens. Scotty's like, nope,
no,
nothing.
ain't nothing happened, bruh. Anon says, there were, and there's a lot of casualties. And Kirk's like, what do you mean? And Spock immediately realizes this is a fake war that is being waged entirely through a computer simulation.
It's Twitter.
It's a Twitter war. It's a flame war.
It's Twitter.
The Star Wars fans and the Star Trek fans are having a fight online.
Which apparently they don't do anymore.
I mean, at this point,
we live
both
in
are
peace.
suffering in their own ways because Star Wars and Star Trek are apparently not good right now.
It's more likely that it was the Swifties and
you're struggling
anyone,
to think of
I
another
guess.
big
No, I was just
name musician.
No, I was just trying to narrow down because the Swifties fight with everybody though. They're bloodthirsty.
They do. They really do.
But do Swifties fight with like BTS stands, or are they?
I don't think
one and
anyone
the same?
fights with the
Are they
BTS
friends?
army. That would be risky.
Right. Oh, because okay, we don't know their capabilities.
Yeah.
Okay.
But BTS might be the only current band that is consistent entirely of people who have served in a military. So there's that.
There's got to be other Korean bands where that's.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
case.
definitely Korean bands. And then Kirk's like, "Hey, the computer can't kill people." And then I said, "Well, I don't know. We just had a computer kill people like a couple episodes ago, so I don't know about all that." But
Computers kill people all the time.
yeah,
my guy.
maybe. Anon 7 says the victims of the attack have 24 hours to report to a disintegration machine because when a fake bomb goes off, they have to real die. And he explains that they have to do it so that they can have a war but not lose the culture. And he's like, this way our civilization doesn't die, but the people still do. To which I was like, what?
all right. We're gonna have to break this down.
Yeah.
I wrote a very long paragraph in my notes,
Right.
just trying to put this to paper and figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
So they've been waging war for 500 years between these two planets.
Vendikar and
They
Eminar.
fight with simulated attacks on the computer, and when people die, they surrender people's lives for real
Right.
as a sort of way for both planets, I guess, to wage war, but their cultures and lifestyles get to persevere should
Right.
something bad happen.
Mhm.
So they don't just nuke each other's planets and it's all over. But that doesn't really make sense, because if you don't kill people for real, then they'll just... Okay, if they don't report for the disintegration chambers and
Right.
like
Right.
show up as a casualty, then they will nuke each other, and then the culture goes away. But agreeing to not nuking each other in that way just defeats the purpose of the war, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
if they can't either conquer each other or wipe each other out,
Then,
then
what
why
are
are
they
you
fighting
even
for?
fighting? And to that end, you could just stop launching your bullshit fake attacks
Yeah.
and ignore each other.
Well, and I'm also really confused by it because so we'll find out in like one scene, but I'll spoil it here, that May 7 is considered, or May 3 is considered a casualty of this explosion, even though she's
Yeah.
standing in the room with everybody else who is not considered a casualty. So it's not like you were in the area where the fake were, like they said B7 and you were in B7, so you're dead. It seems like it's random.
I think they're playing some sort of like strange, like video war game with this. Like, look, we nuked your capital, and this would have killed 7 million people. Then they like random draw lottery 7 million people. Be like, all right, there you go. That's fair.
I guess. But also,
but-
like, to your point, the buildings aren't the culture, it's the people. You're still killing the culture. Like, that's not, oh, you saved, the Louvre didn't burn down, but all of the artists who put shit in there are dead.
Do they have some sort of rule of like, you just nuked us on Tuesday, we get a week off? Like,
They get a
how
bye
long
week.
do we get to like replenish our population at all somehow? Or are we dwindling?
Here- I wrote this-
Millions of people a year.
I wrote this later, where it was like, this fake war confuses me, but here are my notes. I wrote, how do you defend? Do you just tell the computer, nuh-uh, I have a shield? Like, do you need to have the real weapons and then tell the computer that you have them so that you're capable of making the fake attack with the real weapons? Because they later are like, well, if we don't do this, then they'll shoot the real weapons. But like, do we even know they have them? Because why would you bother manufacturing them if you never have to actually shoot them?
And we've already talked about, yeah, how do you defend? How do you win?
You don't.
Because,
I mean,
like-
clearly it's been going on for 500 fucking years.
Because do you think like one day you can launch a simulated computer attack that is so big and so good that everyone has to report to the disintegration chamber? And in which case, would they do it? Or at that point, would they say, well, no, fuck this.
We're gonna
If
have
we're
a
all
real
going to die
war."
anyways, we might as well just nuke them.
Yeah. And like, why not hack the computer? Why not lie and say that you killed the people and not actually kill them? Or just
Are they
send them
watching?
off world?
Are they
how
able
do
to
we know?
see?
What is
They seem to believe that if they don't do it, they'll know. And then they'll attack us for real.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
And their hats are stupid.
Their hats are so stupid. It is telling that none of the named characters on this planet wear them.
I mean, okay. So the closest thing to a real answer I have for why is this happening is the reporting for disintegration is very clearly some sort of metaphor take on the Vietnam draft.
Yeah, that would make
Just
sense.
like, I have to report and I'm not coming back.
They have a very
Um,
like duty attitude about it. You know?
Yeah. But other than that, like if you dig any deeper than that metaphor, this doesn't really work at all.
I don't really understand it. I don't know what the metaphor is supposed to be. It's like, it's an interesting idea, but I don't necessarily think it comes together.
It's just dying needlessly, I think. I think they took a
It's
very like
Very
anti-war,
frustrating.
anti-war stance on the Vietnam and the draft and all the nonsense. Like, it's no
Yeah.
secret that a lot of people in the
Yeah.
U.S. didn't want us to be over there.
True.
So it's when, the enterprise, the people of logic and, smarts, they see like, oh, well, time to go disintegrate myself. Just like, well, no, obviously
Why,
don't
like,
do that.
Literally, why would you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what it's supposed to be.
So
But if you look at it literally, I think that's where the wheels kind of fall off.
it does. It really does. Spock says that he says there's some kind of scientific logic to it. And Anand's like, oh, thanks for approving. And he's like, I don't.
It's like, dude, stupid.
He says, I do not approve. Anand also is like, hey, by the way, your ship was also in B7, and so everyone on your ship has to come down and get disintegrated.
Oh, get fucked.
Sorry.
Oh, now it's location based.
Sorry. He's like, your entire ship was destroyed, so they need to come down here and get disintegrated, and we're going to hold you prisoner until they do. Sorry. And then, so they get taken prisoner and put into a room, and May comes into the room that so the people on the planet are Kirk, Spock, 2 random red shirt security guys, and then a 3rd random red shirt woman who I think is like a communications officer of some kind because she's carrying the tricorder. I don't know. May comes in and asks if they need anything, and Kirk starts making threats, and he's like, "I'm gonna crash out if I don't talk to Anand in the next like 10 seconds." And then he's like, what, you just want everyone to walk into the thing? Would you do that? And she's like, well, yeah, actually I died. So I got like 12 hours and then I gotta go to get disintegrated too. This is my last thing, is making sure that you don't need like a drink of water before I walk into the gas chamber.
Well, thanks for that.
Thanks, you dumbass. And then May's like, well, it's not that I don't value my life. It's that if I refuse, then Vendikar will shoot real weapons over here and then our civilization will be destroyed and I'll still be dead. And he's like, that's stupid. And she's like, clearly you have to see that our way is better. And he's like, no, bitch, I don't. And also, let me talk to Anon 7.
I know it's very easy to say, just stop doing war.
Yeah.
But like,
it's been 500 years.
This is crazy. You can't just ignore each other. It's a different planet.
And we later find out they haven't talked in centuries.
No, they're just playing war over email.
The shittiest game of Battleship I've ever heard of. Up on the Enterprise,
we play Battleship, and if I sink one of your ships, you have to kill your cat.
How has there not been a rebellion on this planet?
That's a good question. Surely someone is like, I don't want to go to the disintegration chamber. Or they all just culturally on board with it?
They must be. It's got to be some kind of just like, it's been happening for so long that it just is the culture.
Well, I want to know what's going on that other planet. We never see that other planet.
I dead ass thought it was going to turn out that the other planet was already dead, and that it was just a computer playing against them. That's where I thought this was going.
That would have been money.
That's really what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
It turns out that's not the case. Spoilers, but that's what I thought. Anyway, up on the Enterprise, Bones tells Scotty that Kirk should have called by now, and then they argue a little bit, and Uhura gets a call from Kirk, and he's like, hey, the Amenians are going to hand out free blowjobs. Everyone come down to the planet. Everything's great.
Party, and everyone on the ship is invited.
Every single person on the ship is invited. They're gonna send up trained Amenians who have never flown a starship before. They have people who know how to do it, and they're gonna come up and take control of the ship for a little while so that everyone can take shore leave. And Scotty's like, I didn't go on the last shore leave because everything down there sounded insane.
You're gonna know you've beamed up the right people because they have very cool hats.
They're very neat, and we love that. And then we're immediately shown that this is Anon 7 imitating Kirk's voice, which Scotty clocks immediately because he's the best, and he has the machine scanned to see if it's a lie, and it is. And he's like, okay, well, I'm not beaming anybody down. Okay, cool. Problem solved. Also, raise the shields. We'll get to that later.
Absolutely.
Down on the planet, Spock massages a wall, and then a guard outside walks over and opens the door because he's taking control of him. And I wrote, he can do that?
I don't have an answer for that.
Is he gonna do it again?
No, I don't think so. So, are we assuming that he's because he can mind meld? That's not what he did here.
He doesn't. I mean, maybe it's associated with that power.
Maybe he can telepathically, psychically, like cause like a very weak link of suggestion. Some kind of what I do understand is moments from now he hits, I think, the same guy with the old "there's something on your shirt" gag.
Yeah.
I think his exact quote is he's like, "Did you know there's a multi-legged creature crawling up your shoulder?" The guy's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then he hits
Yeah.
him with he could have just hit him with the
That
pinch.
that is a different guy later, but he does do that, and it is
Oh,
hilarious.
okay, right, gotcha.
So the guy comes in and gets immediately knocked out. They just jump him and take his gun. And then the team escapes and watches two people just like walk into the disintegrator, and they don't seem upset about it. They kind of just do it very robotically. There's like one hug, and I guess that's what we're supposed to take away from it. On the way, they intercept May on the way to kill herself, and then they knock out the guard with there's a multi-legged creature on your shoulder, and destroy the disintegrator with the gun that is called a disruptor. So not that matters, but that's what it's called. Anon tells the guards to attack them, and he tells the guards, because he finds out that they've escaped. So he tells the guards to track down the people who escaped, and then he's like, also shoot that ship out of the fucking sky. My entire notes are just full of random things that I thought throughout the time, where I was like, why couldn't they just lie? Like, not kill their people or send them else? What's the honor system here?
This is definitely one of those episodes, yeah.
This is also where I have this fake war confuses me and all the stuff that I read earlier. Back on the Enterprise, the ship gets attacked, but Scotty has the shields up, so because he's really smart and he's the best. And also Pike 2 is back. Yay!
Fake Pike. He dyed his hair and he's still on the bridge.
Yay, good for him.
I think they must have thought, like, because the last time we saw him, we both had the same reaction of like, that's Pike. I mean, it's not, but it is.
But it is.
But he looked a lot like Pike.
The most important thing is we were not wrong.
Yeah, that's because we're Star Trek experts. Tell the other people.
We are
Tell the other
smart.
Shout it from the rooftops. Put it in the Discord servers. We know. But yeah, so they must have looked at it and thought like, he kind of looks like Pike. Dye his hair.
Dye his hair. Make it darker.
But I think he's the same character.
He is.
From
he's still
the last time on the bridge.
He's still DePaul or whatever it was. So Scotty moves to open fire or return fire, and Ambassador Fox is like, no. This must be a misunderstanding. I have an answer. I'll send them a strongly worded letter. That'll tell them.
I'm the diplomat, so I'll be able to diplomacy our way out of it.
The team, back on the planet, the team and May retreat to the room that they escaped from to save budget. And then Kirk is like, they'll never think to look for us in the room we escaped from. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yes, correct. They now have, because of the guards they knocked out, 4 guns, 2 uniforms, and a communicator. That is their loot. They've done well.
Cool.
Kirk demands May help them stop the killing and the war, and she agrees, like, kind of, but not really. She's like, do you think you can do that? Like, she doesn't fight against it, really. But she doesn't help also. She just kind of, like, tells them where to go. Anyway, Anon 7 agrees to talk to Fox, and Anon tells them, the attack was a mistake. We thought that you shot at us first. I'm sorry, that's on us. My bad. You guys should come down, and we'll hang out.
This fucking guy immediately falls for it. He's
Yeah.
like, see, problem solved. I knew I could handle it.
I'm the best at diplomacy. So Fox buys it, and he's like, diplomacy wins. Lower the shields. And Scotty's like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
This is the highlight of this episode, I think.
Is Scotty being like, I absolutely will not. And he's like, well, then I'll write a strongly worded letter about you. And he's like, all right, bro, but I'll be alive.
Facing a court martial. I think his bones, he's like, you've really gone and stepped in it now, Scotty.
And he's like,
and he's like, sometimes you step in the haggis, sometimes the haggis steps in you.
That might be a direct quote.
Yeah.
Kirk finds Anon in his room and threatens him at gunpoint. And he's like, I need you to let me talk to my ship. And Anon's like, you're a barbarian, and I hate you, and you smell. And also, do you want a drink? And Kirk, for some reason, does pour a drink, never drinks it. I took careful note because I was like, is this poison? And then he pushes the panic button. Anon pushes the panic button. And then Kirk keeps demanding a communicator, and they're like, he eventually tells him, he's like, the communicators are in the war room or whatever. And then the Kirk at some point is also like threatening to destroy the planet. And
Yeah.
Anon is like, "You're
Okay.
gonna do that with 4 guys and a disruptor?" And he's like, "Yes."
Oh, Okay. So he's definitely was bluffing because
For
Kirk
sure.
wouldn't genuinely do that. But
Probably not,
I
no.
did have this thought when he said that. He said like either you deal with it or I'm gonna destroy everything. I don't remember the exact quote, but he said, I was wondering, was Kirk like somehow saying like I'm gonna overcharge this phaser and throw it in your planet's trash and the whole planet's gonna explode? Or was he threatening to personally hunt down and slaughter every man, woman, and child himself with this single gun?
All he would have had to do is tell them that they were dead, and they would just take care of it themselves.
Damn, that's pretty clever.
I'm
But he
just saying.
didn't. He said he would use the gun.
Just be like, we lost. Everyone go die.
Mm.
Anyway, Anon tells Kirk like where to go, but Kirk senses that it's a trap, and he throws Anon through the door into an unsuspecting guard, and then starts boxing 2 dumbass-looking toy soldiers. But he does lose after being clubbed with a gun.
So here's how my notes go. I got 2 bullet points right here.
Yep.
Wow, a Kirk fight scene that Shatner actually participated in. Next bullet point. Oh, he lost.
That's about right. Yeah. They drag him off to the council room, and Fox and some other diplomat that we haven't seen up to this point beam down and are greeted by Anon 7, who tells them, "Hey man, you're dead. You gotta go die." He's like, "I'm sorry." For some reason, despite being
now
2-on-2,
I don't like the system. This system doesn't work.
Yeah, and then Anon like leaves them with 2 guards, and despite being 2-on-2 with 2 stupid-looking guards and 2 diplomats, they don't even attempt to fight back, and they just like walk to the disintegrator. So neat.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I also wrote, how'd they beam down with the shields up?
Ooh, did a mistake happen?
They beam down. I mean, unless Scotty lowered the shields for just long enough to beam these 2 down, which I don't think he could have done based on the way that they say that they're the way that they imply that they're just constantly getting shot at. But maybe they stopped shooting. I don't know, because Anon said, no, shoot them the second the shields come down. So they would have shot them if they lowered the shields to beam these 2 guys down.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
I think we've stumbled upon a mistake.
How dare they? How dare they? In my good Christian Star Trek, I think not.
Or maybe they weren't paying attention.
I mean, it doesn't. Ultimately, it doesn't matter.
You have to lower the shield, which takes let's say the shield was down for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We gotta lower it. We gotta beam down. We gotta raise the shields. And then at this point, oh, you know what? Kirk was causing a real ruckus. I think they were distracted. There you go. I fixed it.
All right, I accept it. Spock uses the stolen Emenian communicator to contact the ship, and he's like, "Hey man, don't let anyone beam down." And Scotty's like, "I already beamed those 2 dipshits down a minute ago." And Spock's like, "All right." And the 2 security guards, who are now dressed as Emenian guards, go to rescue him and Kirk, and they leave the communications lady to defend or watch May and make sure she doesn't kill herself.
Is it Spock that says like keep her here no matter what?
He says sit on her if you have to.
Yeah, and I was like, can this yeoman scrap? I want to see that.
She looks like she can scrap more than May does, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
want this yeoman to return. I want her to become a regular.
She won't, of course, but it'd be neat.
No, I don't think we'll ever see her again.
No. Spock easily walks up and kicks 2 dudes' asses and rescues Fox and the other diplomat, and then destroys a second disintegrator.
Yay.
And the diplomat asks, "What are you doing?" He says, "Practicing a peculiar form of diplomacy, sir."
I like that. I think by the end here we got Spock and Kirk have some good little one-liners going.
For sure. Fox says he'll fight, which is nice. I appreciate that he has like a face turn here of like, all right, well, diplomacy has failed. Time for war.
Well, it's because he was told he had to die.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait, never mind.
Screw that, actually. Anon is now freaking out at the idea of having a real war. And he says, "What kind of monster are you?" And Kirk's like, "I'm a barbarian. You said so yourself. And I plan to prove it to you."
A little petty, but I'm with it.
It is, but like it's earned. It's deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little petty, so I'm
Same.
let him cook.
Same. Anon threatens Scotty and that they will kill the prisoners if they don't beam down the entire crew in 30 minutes. And Kirk yells to Scotty, "General Order 24, 2 hours." After Anon hangs up, which I also thought that was going to be a ruse, and I haven't been proven that it was yet, but who knows? After Anon hangs up, Kirk is like, "So, okay, here's the situation. The Enterprise is going to destroy your entire planet in 2 hours, whether I'm dead or not. So you figure that one out, buddy." And Anon tells his people, "Open fire, kill the thing." And then they're like, "The ship is out of range. It moved." And he's like, "Oh, God. Oh, shit.
I didn't know it could do that.
I didn't know it could move." In the hall, the diplomat, second guy, gets shot and just kind of sits down in the corner. And I guess he's dead, but I'm not sure. He never got a name, and he doesn't matter, but he might be dead. R.I.P. that guy, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my exact notes.
I agree with it.
A guy comes in and tells Anon that Vendikar is mad and that the people aren't dead yet. And a second guy comes over the speaker and says that another disintegrator has been destroyed and that the guards aren't answering. So I guess Spock is on the move. Anon says that he can't stop, that he can stop the escalation. And Kirk says he's counting on it. He says, "No, I'm counting on escalation. Like, that's what we're looking for." Mm-hmm. Scotty calls down and says, "Hey, just so you know, we've identified every population center on your planet, and in an hour and 45 minutes, I'm going to destroy all of them. So, what's up, bud? What's up, Danger?" Anon immediately starts panicking, and Kirk takes control of the entire room by himself in like 1 second, which is crazy. And also, like, I don't know how he did it when he got his ass beat by two guys earlier, but like, all right.
He had to get his momentum back because he got his ass beat, so he was like, "All right, I can't lose this one."
Yeah, that's fair. But he takes control of the room. He doesn't have to hold it for long because immediately Spock and the entire rest of the other team comes in, and he's like, and Spock is like, "I assumed you needed help," and Kirk is like, "No."
This is the other part. Spock is such a cutie pie. Oh my goodness,
I love him so much.
The way he comes in, he pops the eyebrow. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was needed here."
Oh, I guess I'll leave.
God, I love him.
And then Kirk, we're in the end game here. Kirk is like, "Hey man, I'm gonna bring real war to your planet because war is supposed to be bad. That's what makes you want to avoid it."
Yeah.
He says it's supposed to be bloody and terrible and awful. You can't just say, "Oh, these people are dead," and then they have to go kill themselves. That's insane.
Yeah.
Then he says he's gonna end the war, which he does by destroying all of the computers that simulate the war.
Break his stupid bitch computer.
He just shoots them. He could have probably talked it to death. We've seen him do that before to computers, but he chose this time to shoot it, which I respect.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells Anon, "Real war is coming. Either wage it with real weapons or end it." And Anon's like, "I haven't spoken to Vendikar in centuries." And I said, "In centuries, bitch?"
He's nervous to make a
You've
phone
never
call.
even
How long
talked
do
to
people
them?
live?
That's a good question. But like, you've never even talked to them. Do you even know why you're at war with these guys?
Surely they do not.
Insane. Truly insane. And then they beam up and they leave the diplomat there. The diplomat is like, "I'm good at diplomacy," which he has not proven. "I'll stay here and help the war not happen." And then we beam up to the Enterprise. Uhura's like, "Oh, negotiations are going well." And Kirk's like, "I had a feeling it would work out." But credits, we're done.
Mm-hmm. Either you have your war and die, or you play nice in the sandbox.
Yeah. Skyler,
That's
how
the
do you
lesson here.
feel? Or would you like to do trivia first or rating first?
Let me do the trivia first.
Yes, sir.
Let me do the trivia. So obviously we talked about crewman DePaul, who's played by Sean Kenny. We had him show up before.
Is there
Played
any
Captain
relation
Pike in
to Tom Kenny of being SpongeBob?
No, it's spelled different.
Damn.
Yeah. According to David Gerald, who he was a writer on this episode. According to him, the computer tallies of the war dead in this episode was a statement about the Vietnam deaths that began to be registered on nightly newscasts in 1967.
Oh, okay.
So there is that Vietnam connection. I'm pretty sure that I have the metaphor like spot on the money, but
I'm sure you do.
maybe I'm talking out my ass. Who knows? Here's the most interesting trivia that not only for this episode, but maybe that we've done period for Star Trek. Scotty's refusal. Okay, let me start that again. Scotty's refusal to lower the shields against orders is based on an actual story from James Doohan's military career. As a lieutenant in the Royal Canadian Artillery, he was threatened with a court-martial for real for saying, "No, sir, I will not," to a visiting colonel when he realized a training exercise order would entail blowing the heads off of some of his own men for real.
What?
So some
Surely
guy
the major
showed up.
didn't think that it was. He wasn't like kill your guys. He was saying to do
No,
something that
no.
would have resulted in killing them.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that's the case. Some stuffed shirt showed up
Yeah.
and was like, "Oh, go ahead and do this thing." And James Doohan's like, I can't do that."
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
And the
do
guy
that.
immediately is like, "You're gonna disobey a direct order? I'm gonna fucking throw you in jail."
I'm gonna
And
throw
then,
you in
and
Scotland
then,
Yard.
and then, as it says here, fortunately, his immediate supervisors came in and backed him up. So yeah, people ran in and were like, "No, he's saying that because what you just said is the most stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life." And so that guy went away with egg on his face.
Good. Just
But,
like our guy.
But just like his fictional character, James Doohan was eventually promoted to captain.
Yeah. Way to go, my boy Scotty. Would you like me to go first this time with the rating system?
You may go first, and
Thank
I
you.
think I know what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna give this one an engage.
Oh, I did not think you were gonna say that.
There you go, baby. I think this is a really good Scotty episode. I think it's a good Spock episode, and I think it's a good Kirk episode. I think that all of our guys do really well. Do I have problems with it? Yes. I think the metaphor is weak. And I think these people on the planet are incredibly stupid, but we're going to be dealing with a lot of stupid people on a lot of stupid planets. So I'm sure that that's not going to be something that I can hold against every episode of the show. And I will also say, I just think it's really fun that they came into this planet where it's like everything here is shitty and you're an idiot and I'm gonna fix it, because that is the exact opposite of the oh god, why can't I think of what it's called right now? The Prime Directive. It's like
Yes.
they did the absolute furthest thing from the Prime Directive that has possibly happened in any of these episodes ever, and I kind of loved it.
Said no to the culture, and we're like, we're gonna change this.
This was the first episode where I felt like, maybe not the first episode, one of the first episodes where I felt like the crew of the Enterprise wasn't the JV team. I think everyone proved themselves to be very capable, and I think they did that in the last episode as well, particularly Uhura, and everyone standing on business and not like turning traitor except MacGyver's to Khan. But I think this episode really solidified it as no, we know what we're doing and we're gonna take care of it, and I really liked that. So for me, this is an engage. I enjoyed this episode a lot.
All right, very nice. I'm also gonna give this an engage, and I thought that I was gonna be the one being like, no, it's good actually, but you tricked me. That's why you wanted to go first.
I live to confuse you.
Yeah, no, this episode has an outlandish premise. And I don't think the metaphor is weak, but I think it's overshadowed by how confusing the war actually is here.
You're right.
It's completely bonkers. But I think once you get past that, there's so many good character bits from Scotty and Spock and Kirk even. Bones doesn't really do anything, but that's okay. Yeah, it's fun. I like it. Engage.
Engage. I agree. I think this is a really fun one. I don't necessarily think it's going to be like, if we do a thing where we rank all the episodes at the end of this, I don't think it's going to be like super high on my rankings, but
no,
I very much enjoyed it. I think it's a lot of fun.
I am keeping a sort of ranking as we go, and we'll see. I figured we'll just do our top fives by the end.
Sure, that sounds great. And if you want to see what our top fives are by the time we get to the end of this show or the end of season 1, wherever we choose to do that, you can get the notification that we're doing that by following this show on Twitter at @RSR_POD, or following me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Daniel J. McGee.
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Skyler8bit.
And please leave a comment either on YouTube or Spotify telling us which crew member is your favorite and how much you think it's Scotty. Because at this point, it really should. If it's not Scotty or Spock, I don't know.
And why is it Scotty?
And why is it Scotty? But thank you
Maybe
very much,
Sulu
everybody.
when he bothers to show up for work.
Yeah, which
But
unfortunately
until
is not
then,
often
it's
enough.
Scotty.
Thanks everyone for watching this far into the video, and until next time, let's see what's out there.
everything feels right. Let's play, take a trip.